In this video, we'll take a look at Life Miniatures' fantastic new World War II Red Army Sniper. And it's all coming up right after this. Alright, let's take a look at what's in this box.
What the hell was that?
Wow!
Alright, let's get right into this unboxing. So what I have for you here today is the new Life Miniatures World War II Red Army Female Sniper. It's a limited number 49 of 300. And on the back you can see it was signed by Sang-Young Lee. And the reference number for this kit is LM-B024, and it's a 1/10 scale resin bust. The box is very sturdy. They always come very well packed. And on the side here you can see they give you what the finished model should look like and a breakdown of the assembly of the parts for the gun. So the kit consists of 17 parts in a light gray resin, as you can see here. Just wanted to give you kind of an overview of the parts so you see a breakdown of everything. Okay, the first thing we're going to look at is the torso section of the figure. And this part here, I'll try not to brutalize the Russian too much. From what I understand, it's called the Gymnastiorka. Now I'm not sure if that's just the coat or the entire uniform section. As you can see, this belt here is very nice, crisply molded. All the button detail is very nice. And the Order of Glory medal is very nicely cast. And the cape or the cloak that goes over top of her uniform here is really nicely done as well. You can see here there's an indentation for where the rifle is going to fit. There's a nice plug part here for the arm to fit into. Same thing on the head. So you're not going to have to drill out and put pins in there unless you really want to, but I think that's enough to hold the parts together on this particular bust. The only parts you need to remove are this plug here and a little bit right there, and this plug here. Simple to do, and nice locations where it won't really show up or show any defects. And you can see all the seams coming around the back of the cape here, and all the nice little folds that he's sculpted into the seam here on where the buttons attach. And the hood of the cape is very nicely done as well. Even down to the string that ties it together is just absolutely beautifully cast and sculpted as well. And there you can see that lovely detail that's been sculpted into the metal. And a little closer shot here of some of the buttons and I think these are like little wooden ties that go through the loops down and over here. And right down here is the only place that I found you would need to put a little filler in, is right these three little spots here. And that's pretty amazing that that's all there is for cleanup on this figure, because generally resin figures there's a lot of little pit marks, and some of the casters don't really care as much as some, and you can end up having a lot of fill up and clean up on a figure, and this is definitely not one of those. Okay, here's the next part, and that's the head we'll take a look at. As you can see again, it's very finely cast, finely sculpted. Just look at that detail in the hair there, and there's really no seams to speak of. I couldn't find one anywhere. I'll show you the mating surface here where the head plugs in. It's very positive, it's perfect. And you can see there's even a little relief there around the neck as well. So that fits really nice. And you can see how smooth that resin is on the face. You know, you don't see any kind of mold seams, any kind of abnormalities, where there's really nothing to clean up on this head at all. Because it's funny, you can see a seam line coming out here, and it might just kind of disappear into the hair here. I'll have to take a closer look, but I really don't see any seam in there. Let's go to the next piece. And this is the right arm. Again, you can see nice button detail, nice seam detail along the coat. Perfect representation of the folds. They look very natural. Excellent. And this is the next part. This would be the right arm. Then we have the hand that's cocking the rifle, and the only thing you need to remove there is right here by the finger. That looks like a little support of some kind. You just have to chop that out, and then this piece here on the end, and that'll be perfectly cleaned up. A little more of the equipment here. There's a couple, or a section and a half of the cartridge containers. Some nice little rivet detail there where the straps attach. And this part here is this simple. That's just the pedestal part that fits into the bottom of the body, like so. That would just slide in there, and that's to present the figure. What we're looking at here is the cap, or as the Russians called it, the pilotka, which I believe means pilot's hat. As you can see, the details are really crisp, well sculpted, lots of fold detail in there, and the seams along the back. Just a plug here you have to remove, and on the front you can see the metal insignia and the hammer and sickle design on there. It's very clear and crisp. All the folds down the middle here as the cap wedges together are very well represented as well. Not much more to say about that. That looks really good. Okay, the next part we'll go to is the Moyson Rifle, model 1891/30. And you can see the hand is actually molded right to the gun, which is nice. I like that when they do that, because then it looks natural. If it's lined up properly, it should fit perfectly, as most Life miniatures do. There's just some parts that need to be cut off here. That's right in there. And on the end of the thumb, those parts need to be cut off and cleaned. But again, they're in inconspicuous locations that shouldn't cause a problem. Maybe just a little bit of filler might be needed in there. I'd have to see once I start putting it together. And again, back here on the butt of the rifle, that'll need to be cleaned up. There might be a bit of a seam coming across the top of the rifle here that needs cleaning up. That shouldn't be too big of a deal. And down on the bottom here, there was a couple little pinholes that need to be filled. But again, nothing as modelers we shouldn't be able to handle fairly easily. In here we have the front section of the rifle. Just this part here needs to be cleaned off, and there may be a bit of a mold seam along the top that needs to come out, and this little piece here, and on the very tip here the end has been drilled out. I'll probably drill that out a little more yet, and there's just a little bit of resin in here that's blocking the sight, so that'll have to be cleaned up a bit as well. And here's one of the straps that attaches to the rifle. Just a little bit of cleanup down here needed to take those off. And one more part of the sling. These parts need to be chopped off and cleaned up there. You can see the detail is very well sculpted. All the buckle detail is nice. And this is the sight of the rifle. You can see that's very well detailed. This, I believe, is the PU telescopic sight, and the details on that are very well sculpted as well. And I don't see any seams to clean up there other than a couple little plugs. And here is another section of the rifle, I believe. I won't know until I'm actually putting this together, but it looks very well cast as well. This might be part of where the shell goes in. I'm not sure. Again, this will come to light when I put it together. And then the final part here is the actual bolt mechanism. Pretty simple, but it looks like there's not a lot of cleanup there either. Alright, that completes my review of the World War II Red Army Female Sniper by Life Miniatures. I hope you enjoyed this review, and if you did, as always, please remember to subscribe, hit the bell notification, give me a thumbs up, and share this video with somebody in this great modeling community. Alright, I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye now.